You are sitting alone in a room. Nothing touched your skin. Nothing cut your body. Nothing physically hurt you. And yet water is running down your face. It is one of the strangest things humans do. Your eyes can leak liquid because of a memory, because of a song, because of a sentence, because another human being suffered. No other known animal does this in quite the same way. Animals produce tears. Dogs do. Cats do. Birds do. But they produce tears to protect their eyes. Humans do that too. Yet humans added something unusual. We cry because of emotions, and scientists still debate exactly why. The mystery has fascinated researchers for generations. Why would evolution preserve a behavior that blurs vision? Why would natural selection favor something that appears to weaken us? For most of human history, nobody knew. Ancient cultures created their own explanations. Some believed tears carried grief out of the body. Others believed tears purified the soul. The truth appears even stranger. Human tears come in three different types. Basal tears protect the eye every day. Reflex tears flush away smoke and dust. Then there are emotional tears, the rarest kind, the most mysterious kind, the kind you are thinking about right now. In the 20th century, researchers began studying them closely. One of the most famous was the biochemist William Frey. In the 1980s, Frey collected human tears and analyzed their contents. What he found surprised many scientists. Emotional tears were chemically different. They contained different concentrations of proteins and hormones. The body appeared to be doing more than lubricating the eye. Something else was happening. Something deeper. But chemistry alone could not explain the puzzle. The bigger question remained. Why show your emotions this way? Why not hide them? To understand the answer, we have to travel backward, far backward, before cities, before farming, before written language. Imagine a small group of humans crossing an African landscape. Food is scarce. Predators are everywhere. Injury can mean death. Isolation can mean death. Almost everything depends on cooperation. Humans survived because humans helped one another. A lone person was vulnerable. A group was powerful. That created a problem. How do you convince others that you need help? Words were not always available. Language evolved gradually. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans relied heavily on signals, facial expressions, body posture, eye contact, and eventually tears. Evolutionary biologists believe emotional tears may have become an honest signal, a signal difficult to fake, a signal that immediately communicates vulnerability. When tears appear, aggression often decreases, compassion often increases, support often follows. The signal works because tears cost something. They blur vision, they expose weakness, they reduce the appearance of threat. Why would someone deliberately make themselves look weaker? Because weakness can be a message, and sometimes that message saves lives. Psychologist Ad Vingerhoets spent decades studying crying behavior. His research suggests crying is deeply tied to social connection. People rarely cry for long when completely isolated. Most emotional crying occurs around other people, or around people we imagine. A memory, a photograph, a voice. The brain treats social bonds as incredibly important. In many ways, survival depended on them. That ancient wiring still exists inside you, even now. Even in a modern city, your brain carries instructions written long before civilization. When a relationship breaks apart, the brain reacts. When someone dies, the brain reacts. When you witness extraordinary kindness, the brain reacts. The response can become tears. But there is another strange detail. Humans do not only cry from sadness, we cry from joy. We cry at weddings. We cry during reunions. We cry when impossible odds are overcome. Why? Researchers believe extremely powerful emotions can overwhelm the brain's regulatory systems. The body responds by releasing tension. Tears become part of the process, a kind of emotional pressure valve. The same mechanism can appear during grief and celebration. Different experiences, similar biological machinery. Have you ever noticed that some moments feel too big for words? That may be exactly the point. Language is powerful, but language has limits. Tears communicate something language sometimes cannot. A single tear can reveal loss, relief, love, fear, gratitude, all within seconds, without a single spoken sentence. Modern brain imaging has added another layer to the mystery. Researchers have found strong links between emotional processing regions and crying behavior. Structures such as the amygdala play major roles. These regions help evaluate emotional significance. When activity reaches certain thresholds, physical responses can follow, including tears. The process feels personal, yet it is also biological, ancient, and surprisingly universal. People cry in every known culture. Different cultures may encourage or discourage public crying, but emotional tears appear everywhere. That suggests something important. This behavior did not emerge recently. It is deeply embedded in what humans are, and perhaps that is why tears remain so powerful. When you see someone crying, your brain pays attention. You immediately begin asking questions. What happened? Are they hurt? Do they need help? Should I comfort them? Should I stay? The signal still works, thousands of generations later. Across continents, across languages, across cultures, a tiny stream of water can alter human behavior. That is extraordinary, because emotional tears are not really about the eyes. They are about connection. They are evidence that human survival was never an individual project. It was a group project, a shared project, a social project. The ability to reveal vulnerability became one of humanity's hidden strengths. The same trait that can make us feel exposed can also bring people closer together. And that leads to the strangest realization of all. When you cry, your body is performing an ancient ritual, one shaped by millions of social interactions, one refined across countless generations, one designed to bridge the distance between minds. The tears running down your face may feel deeply private, but they exist because humans were never meant to face life completely alone. Every emotional tear carries the memory of a species that survived through connection. And that means the water in your eyes is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of one of humanity's oldest survival tools. Not fire, not weapons, not even language. Connection. The ability to reach another mind. The ability to say something important without speaking. That ability changed everything. Every emotional tear carries the memory of a species that survived through connection. For millions of years, humans faced dangers no individual could overcome alone. Predators, starvation, disease, violence. The people who survived were rarely the strongest individuals. They were often members of the strongest groups. Groups that shared food. Groups that protected one another. Groups that responded when someone needed help. Emotional tears may have become part of that system. A signal that traveled faster than words. A signal that was difficult to ignore. A signal that immediately captured attention. When someone cries, most people react. Even strangers react. The response is almost automatic. We look, we listen, we try to understand. What happened? Are they hurt? Do they need help? Should I comfort them? Should I stay? Those questions can appear in seconds, long before a conversation begins, long before a story is told. The signal still works. Thousands of generations later, across continents, across languages, across cultures, a tiny stream of water can alter human behavior. That is extraordinary, because emotional tears are not really about the eyes. They are about connection. They are evidence that human survival was never an individual project. It was a group project, a shared project, a social project. The ability to reveal vulnerability became one of humanity's hidden strengths. The same trait that can make us feel exposed can also bring people closer together. And that leads to the strangest realization of all. Many people think tears are the opposite of strength. History suggests the opposite may be true. Strength is not always the ability to hide emotion. Sometimes strength is the willingness to reveal it. Sometimes strength is allowing another person to see what you are carrying. And sometimes that moment changes everything. A friendship deepens. A family reconnects.